Okay, so today we're going to do the salute to the sun. They are 10 a penny on YouTube. You will find them everywhere and they're really dynamic, and most of us at this time of year are not feeling too dynamic. So I'm going to call it a winter salute to the sun. It's going to be a lot slower, a lot more gentle, and a little bit of novelty. And that's what neuroplasticity, it likes that, a little bit of novelty, and I'm hoping that's what I'm going to bring in. So we're going to start from the end of your mat. So let's start, I'm going to face you so you can see what I'm doing here. So your hands are at the heart centre and you're at the end of your mat, so you'd be standing here. Okay, or have your mat facing me would be even better. So standing here. And on the in-breath, I'll always make sure you breathe out first, and maybe I've done a few little breathing or maybe a little bit of jiggling before we start. And then when you're ready, on the in-breath, we're going to come up the centre here and you're going to be parting the clouds. I know you're not going to see my hands, but on the we're going to let the arms come all the way out like that. Because we want to part the clouds so that we can find the sun. You need the darkness first. And there's a reason for my mats being like this. You'll see it quite soon. So imagine what's going on above my head. So you're breathing in all the way up and parting the clouds nice and wide, and the out breath, the hands come back down, so we're bringing all that light into your heart. And we'll go another twice, so you're breathing in, reaching upwards, parting the clouds, and on the out breath let the arms float back down, back to your heart centre. Just one more time, breathing in, reaching up, parting those clouds, let that light come in, let the sun come in, maybe even the warmth, as we come back to the heart centre. The next time you breathe out, we're going to come forward. So if you haven't warmed up, really come down low. So you don't need to move, I'm just showing so you can see what we're doing. So on the out breath, we're going to come all the way down. I'm going to bend my knees a lot to come down and bring the hands onto the floor. And on the in breath, maybe lengthening arms, lengthening your spine, lengthen your legs. You can also be up here doing exactly the same thing, lengthening. So in breath, lengthen, out breath, engage tummy muscles, soften everything apart from the belly. 3 of these. And then we're going to step 1 foot back. So we're going to come into a lunge. So I've got my knee forward like this, and you can either have your hands up here on your thigh or they can be low down here. What we plan to do is on the in-breath, let your weight go forward, and we want to really open up the hip flexors here. The new smoking is sitting. We sit far too much for our health. The organs, your low back, everything is really suffering. So we want to really open up here. So on the in-breath, you let your weight go forward so you can feel that lengthening of the hip flexors. And on the out-breath, we're going to let our weight come back. Not aiming to get a straight leg, but we do want to have sensations along the back of your leg. So on the in-breath, coming forward, lift the face, lift the heart centre, and breathing out. Okay, 3 of these. And I'm not going all the way back, I just want to feel the sensations and no more. Okay, so this is the last one. And then I am going to bring that knee back. So I'm on all fours, I'm in a cat position, and if you like, you can have a little swish of your tail if you fancy that. We're going to come flat onto the floor. So some will like this, it's called the 8-pointed sequence, where you slip through. So I've got my hands on the floor, my forearms on the floor, my knees, and I'm going to bring my chin onto the floor and I scoop through. So I've not moved my hands. It might be okay for some, others find a way to get onto the floor. Just walk your hands forward until you come flat on the floor. And then once we're there, we're going to come up into a sphinx. So you press the tops of your feet into the floor, and imagine you've got a little marble underneath your pubic bone, and it's a scooping action. We want that marble to go up towards your nose. So you're just imagining it, just that scooping action, and not pushing into the floor. We pull energy towards us. So the hands don't actually move, but it's a pulling towards you. So in the in-breath, we're going to lift up our face and our chest. Maybe look around you a little bit. It's good for the nervous system to make sure that all is well. And just checking, how does that neck feel? Just a few breaths up here, and I'm not trying to come into a high sphinx. I want to feel good in this position. And on the out breath, I'm going to lower myself back down, a few recovery breaths. And then stretching my arms out in front of me here, a few breaths. And then I'm going to walk my hands over to one side. So I'm opening up one side of the body. I'm breathing right into that side. So opening up the side of the body, right up into the armpit. Lengthening from the feet all the way up. Maybe about 4 breaths. And then back to the centre. It's nice to stay and notice the difference. One side that's been opened, the other side that hasn't yet. It's going to feel different. And then over to the other side, walking over, lengthening that whole side. 4 breaths here. This is an upside down banana that you're making here. And then come back to the centre. Briefly, we're going to come back into your Sphinx. It might feel different, it might not feel any different at all, and that's okay. Just a few breaths. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to come up to, as you breathe in, come up into the cat. And as you breathe out, we're going to come up into the dog posture. So I'm not aiming to have straight legs. Doesn't really matter how it looks, it's how it feels. So the fingers are nicely spread out, and I'm lifting up one heel at a time, just lowering it down. Yes, getting those sensations in the backs of the legs. And it's also really nice to cross one knee over. So I'm going to keep my feet on the floor. So on the in-breath, I'm going to lift the heels up. On the out-breath, I'm going to cross my left knee over my right, so I'm looking underneath my armpit. And then coming back to the centre, and then over the other way. Apologies to those of you that have got dogs. My dog is barking, I'm really sorry. So crossing the other way. Okay, good. And then from there, we're going to walk our feet to our hands. Soften your knees completely. Maybe do yes and no a few times. Maybe a little massage to the back of your neck. And on the in-breath, let the arms go wide as you float all the way up. And on the out-breath, gathering all that light into the heart centre. Good. So that's half the salute. So we have the other half to do, leading with the left side. Okay, so we'll start off exactly the same way as you did the first time round. The hands at the heart. A few breaths. And then when you're ready, on the in-breath, we're lifting up and we are parting the clouds. And on the out-breath, let the arms float back down. Okay, so another twice. Breathing in, all the way up. Opening up, parting those clouds. And the out-breath, lowering your arms back down. Mr. Iyengar said that if your armpits were on view, then you couldn't be depressed. So get those armpits out. And lowering back down. Good. Okay, we're going down. So whenever you're ready, so you don't need to move, it's just me that's moving. On the out breath, engage tummy muscles as you float back down. In breath, lengthening legs, arms and spine. And breathing out, softening. Okay, 3 of these. And then stepping back with your left foot. So we're not symmetrical, see how this side feels first of all. And then whenever you're ready, on the in-breath, let your weight go forward, so we're really opening up this side. And on the out-breath, coming back, so you lengthen the back of your leg. In-breath as you come forward, and the out-breath back. Okay, so just one more time. Working with your breath, no one else's. Good. And then we come on to all fours. And it's going to get a little bit different here. So again, if you need a little shake of your tail, have a little shake. If you want to just walk your hands forward to come onto the floor, or if you like this idea of the scooping action all the way through, until you come flat on the floor. I'm going to move over a little bit because this floor is freezing. I want to have both mats underneath me, and you'll see why. Okay, so again, press your feet into the floor, tops of your feet into the floor. Pubic bone, you've got your little marble, so that's scooping action as you come up into your Sphinx. So looking around you a little bit, maybe find something in front of you that you can focus on nice and comfortably, and it feels good. Notice how your low back feels, how your upper back, how your shoulders feel. How are you feeling? How's the breath doing? And then we're going to change this just a little bit. So I'm going to keep my right leg long and my right arm long. I'm going to bend my left knee and my left hand. So it's going to be like you're crawling. So then I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to straighten this leg, straighten that arm, bend this hand, this elbow, bend that knee. Just a few times back and forward, so like a swimming action that you're doing here. And then we add on. So this time, my bent hand, my bent knee, I'm going to lengthen that arm, reaching upwards and then over. We're going to keep that big toe on the floor as a roly-poly over, so like an upper twist that I'm doing here. And then I'm going to come back to the centre. And then do the same on this side, so bending that knee and that arm. So then I'll reach up with this arm, keep my big toe on the floor as I roll over. And then back again. So doing that as many times as you feel like. All grown-ups should have a little bit of a roll about on the floor now and again. Just have a little bit of a play time. Okay, so I'll make this one my last one. You can do it as many times as you want. And then coming back to the centre, you have a little recovery breath, and then bring yourself back into your Sphinx. And you might not have come up any higher, I think I have, but I can certainly feel more space around my low back. It feels actually pretty good. It's quite subtle, there's definitely a difference. It feels pretty good. Okay, so staying here for at least a few breaths. Some of you may even want to bring your elbows off the floor. I'm not bringing my shoulders up, I'm just bringing my elbows off the floor, seeing how that feels. Still got the little pubic bone, the marble underneath your pubic bone lengthening up. And then lowering yourself back down, have as much of a recovery breath as you want. Then your hands underneath your shoulders, breathing in to your cat, breathing out to the dog. And you might find that your dog feels a lot more comfortable, maybe a little bit more spacious, maybe you feel longer in the spine. All good. Staying here for as long as you want to. And then walking your feet to your hands. Soften your knees, maybe do yes and no a few times. Lengthening the spine on the in-breath, the legs, the arms. Breathing out, softening, and this may even feel different from the first time that you did it. Just do one more. And the in-breath, gathering all that energy, gather the light all the way up, looking upwards, and breathing out, bring all that light into the heart centre. Well done. Do that as many times as you like. Namaste.